Good evening. Well, it hasn't been a bad start to the week. Most places dry and fine. The nights recently, though, have been very cool, especially in the north, and tonight is no exception. Some highland glens, again, getting down to 2 Celsius. Big change, though, in the next couple of days. In fact, by Wednesday afternoon, we could well see values as high as 27 in southeast England, 81 Fahrenheit. Now, along with that change, I'm afraid we're all going to see some rain. In fact, rain already spreading into the far southwest as I speak. Most other places are starting off dry. Clear spells in the far north of Scotland in particular, but during the course of the night, that rain will spread northwards and eastwards across a good part of Wales and the West Country, some other southern parts of England by dawn, and turning very misty around coasts and hills. So tomorrow morning, starting off wet in the southwestern quadrant. Most other places dry, the best of the sunshine yet again. Northwestern parts of Scotland, a lovely day coming up here. Now, during the course of the day, that rain will edge its way northwards and eastwards across the rest of Ireland, Wales, southern and central parts of England. Very light and patchy in the east, the heaviest of the bursts further west. Scotland and northeastern parts of England should stay dry, the best of the sunshine, northern Scotland. Tomorrow's temperatures, wow, 20 to 21 in parts of the south, 21 is 70 Fahrenheit. A little bit cooler further north, a blustery wind picking up, especially across southern parts of the country. Now, a quick look ahead. And on Wednesday, while that rain pushes ever northwards, some heavy bursts still, turning very warm and humid in the south, temperatures peaking at 26, could well set off the odd thundery shower. Turning cooler, though, on Thursday, still a few showers around. That's it from me. I'll leave you with tomorrow's summary.
Power Gen. Power, whatever the weather.
Do you identify yourself for the tape, please?
Yes, my name's Cordelia Gray.
Occupation?
Private investigator.
I want someone to meet a train for me. There's a guy on it I need to have followed.
I accepted a job early this morning.
The man you followed? Who is he?
I don't know.
Your client's name, then?
He didn't give it. I thought it was going to be a simple job.
Her only lead just became a dead end. An unsuitable job for a woman, Friday at 8:30 on ITV.
Carol Vorderman puts Teddy through a safety workout. He's tested to destruction. Next.
Have you ever thought about buying a prepay mobile phone, but were afraid of getting stung? Fortunately, BT Cellnet have the answer. Pay and Go. It's impossible to get stung because Pay and Go doesn't have any hidden service charges. In fact, you don't pay for anything but your calls. Pay and Go from BT Cellnet. Good call.
Softer and smoother. Lurpak spreadable. It's all so sudden.
That's not your dad. He's too old.
The years don't show on you.
That's because my grey hair doesn't show.
Just for Men takes off the years grey puts on. Apply and in 5 minutes rinse. Just for Men blends away grey for a natural look in just 5 minutes.
What do you think of my dad now?
Just for Men takes off the years grey puts on.
At Virgin Cola, even our bottles are drop-dead gorgeous. From Virgin Cola, with love.
Goldenlay have done something amazing with eggs. It's new Ready Egg, the incredibly easy way to enjoy pure, fresh eggs. Ready Egg's really quick. It's already mixed, so all you have to do is pour. New pasteurized Ready Egg. No shells, no mess, no fuss.
It's a national disgrace.
I didn't realise the seriousness of offences that were going on.
Doctors struck off the medical register and then reinstated.
He's gone out searching for his targets.
Absolutely evil. I mean, this is a man that's in a caring profession.
Would shoot him where it hurt.
The report that'll make you think twice the next time you visit a doctor.
You've lied and betrayed your patients.
The Cook Report Special, Tuesday at 9 on ITV.
Alison reveals a dark secret in Coronation Street after tested to destruction.
In tonight's programme, testing tyres at top speed. How to to survive this if you're a crash test dummy. And the test pilot who hopes she'll never take off.
Hello and welcome to Tested to Destruction. If someone asked you what you really, really love about your car, what would you say? Its looks, its performance? I bet the last thing you'd say is the tyres.
Tyres are a highly engineered product, crucial to a car's suspension system and essential to the very things we take for granted: comfort, quietness, fuel economy, and most importantly, safety.
This is a cross-section of a tyre and a wheel. Now, air pressure in the tyre supports the weight of the car, but it also pushes the rubber out against the metal rim here. And it's the air pressure alone that keeps the tyre attached to the vehicle. This is Marilyn. She's a test driver at Michelin's test track at Clermont-Ferrand, which is in mid-France. Say hello, Marilyn.
Hello, everybody.
And what Marilyn doesn't know about handling a car isn't worth knowing. Testers have to assess a tyre's performance when it's underinflated. Why? Because many of us don't check our tyres properly, and driving them in this condition is not safe.
Whoa.
Unless you're an expert, keeping control now is virtually impossible.
It's very difficult and very
difficult for Marilyn to follow this course.
Yeah.
Because of the tyre pressure.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
A new test. All the air has been let out, so Marilyn is now driving with a completely flat tyre on a wet road.
This is one of the most dangerous situations. Now going up to around about 40 miles an hour into a steep bend.
Oops. If this happened to you, the consequences could be fatal. But ordinary tyres may soon be history.
This is a revolutionary new design. In this cross-section, you can see it no longer relies on air pressure to keep the tyre attached to the wheel, because effectively it's now clipped in to the rim. And together with this insert, well, it makes it rather special.
Clipping the tyre to the rim means that the tyre doesn't distort as much when the car is going round a corner, and that makes it much safer in normal use. But it really comes into its own if you get a puncture.
I'm going to do a slalom now.
Look at where the tyre meets the wheel. Do this with a traditional tyre and the result is disastrous. Yet with absolutely no air in it, the new tyre stays firmly attached to the wheel.
These tyres have been tested and tested again during their development to make sure that a car can be driven safely at all speeds, even when a tyre is flat. The end.
A liquid petroleum gas tank, the sort you might have outside your home, particularly if you live in a remote area with no gas supply. But have you ever worried about what would happen if it was surrounded by fire? How safe would it be? The Health and Safety Executive decided to find out. First, they started a fire, then they started their cameras, and then they retired to a safe distance and waited. In one of the tests, a large part of a cylinder actually took off. It was propelled at 150 miles an hour and eventually landed nearly a third of a mile away. The results from these tests not only helped to explain how cylinders react to fire, but also determined where exclusion zones should be and how close the emergency services can safely position themselves if they're ever called out to deal with a situation like this.
Surely this is something which must be free from the world of testing. But no, even the humble baked bean, the tiny but tasty superstar of pulses, is tested to destruction.
350 million beans a day are processed by Heinz, and every one has to pass a test. Size does matter when it comes to the humble haricot. Too big and they simply don't make it into the tin. But even before they get on the line, these beans are tested in gruesome ways. First, a batch is dyed unfashionable pink. The colour reveals cracks that might absorb too much water, leading to a can of mush. Too many cracks, and the whole lot is rejected. Next, it's the magic eye, which peers at every single bean. Too pale or white, and an air gun zaps them into oblivion. But even when it reaches the tin, the ordeal isn't over. A sample are put to the test by mechanical teeth. A force of 10 kilos squashes the beans through a grill to check the consistency is just right. And finally, the ultimate test. Professional bean tasters.
I've been tasting beans for about 15 years now, and I really know what I'm looking for now. Nice rich tomato sauce, nice pack appearance, overall pack appearance, and a nice melt-in-the-mouth soft bean texture.
At last, a baby that doesn't need potty training. Well, this family of crash test dummies may not need feeding, but they aren't cheap to keep. Together they cost around £200,000, but they do make the world a safer place to be in. A lorry is pushed over the edge. At the controls, 2 crash test dummies. Volvo Trucks wanted to show that a restrained dummy is safer than an unrestrained one. The one on the left isn't wearing a safety belt. Case proven, I think. These human substitutes are important to our safety, but how did they evolve? In the early days of testing, they were simple mannequins. Engineers merely observed how they reacted to impact. But in the 1960s, new dummies were introduced, rigged with sensors to show more closely how our bodies would move in a crash. But in order to calibrate the sensors, they had to discover how a real person would react. Enter Larry Patrick, a research scientist, the original human crash test dummy.
Must have been about 1962 or thereabouts when I started doing human volunteer work. I didn't know any other way to find out what the human body could stand, and no other way to determine what manufacturers should use to make safer cars and to make dummies to measure the safety.
But interestingly, Larry's most powerful memory is of low-speed impacts.
When I drove a car into the wall at 12 miles an hour, for example, it felt like my head was coming off. And there's no way you can support yourself against the steering wheel with your arms at 12 miles an hour. You're just not strong enough.
Worth remembering next time you're behind the wheel. Today, there are many kinds of crash test dummies. There are specialist ones to measure injuries caused in different types of accident. They can even monitor injuries to specific parts of the body. They're not just used in cars. When they drop test aeroplanes, dummies are used to measure seat restraints and injury from overhead lockers. But dummies themselves have to be tested before being allowed out of the factory to make sure they are calibrated correctly. First, a 20-kilo weight is smashed into the chest. The head has a special impact test to make sure it operates within parameters. And the neck is subjected to a severe whiplash impact. At the moment, different countries have different standards for crash test dummies, but now there's a new and incredibly advanced kid on the block. This is Thor, the latest word in frontal impact dummies. He has a new face, multi-directional neck, a flexible spine and a more responsive rib cage. In other words, he's more human than any previous dummy. He's taken 5 years to create in a worldwide development program. The design will be released later this year in the hope that Thor will become a global standard and a further step on the road to safety. Just watch how he moves. After the break, protecting the Mini from complete destruction. The woman who goes where no man has gone before. And I protect myself from a lethal chemical dose.
Ever since I was a little girl, I imagined starring in a movie. Some gorgeous icon like James Dean running his fingers through my hair in a world of fantasy. So now I'm in the movies, and the reality is I have to have hair that my heroes love to touch, caress, and kiss. That's why I use Head & Shoulders all the time. Make sure my hair's touchable. Dandruff? I don't think about it. What I think about is my next love scene.
Head & Shoulders. Don't let dandruff get in your way.
Classes usually take a lot of punishment. You should consider Memoflex. It's metal with memory.
When we lie, we perspire. The fingertips never lie. Did you enter zone 12? No. Did you escape the zone with sample meta 3? No.
But we know she's lying. How is this possible? How is this possible?
What's the problem, Katie?
Oh, it's this question. I just don't understand it.
Have you asked your teacher?
School's closed.
What about Nigel?
Well, Nigel's brilliant. He's a genius, but he's out.
Your dad?
Chicken, it's a chicken!
A pterodactyl?
Wrong. Correct.
OK, let's go to homework help.
Just ask AOL and a qualified teacher will email you back a personal explanation.
Everything all right?
Correct.
It's all part of the service at AOL.
McLean's the toothbrush, developed using the latest toothbrush technology. McLean's the toothbrush, designed to clean.
To earn money now, and I want qualification.
If you think there are only two choices, think again. With traineeships and apprenticeships, you can earn as you learn. If you've just left school or already have a job but want qualifications too, then national traineeships and modern apprenticeships could help. For your free information pack, call now on 0800 980 9832. That's free phone 0800 980 9832.
Eddie Irvine could be a British world champion, but with 2 points in it, it doesn't get closer than this. The Belgian Grand Prix this weekend on ITV.
Wait, tell us when it's going to go, OK?
Can't tell.
No one knows? Oh, my God!
They're called extreme rides. This one's on top of a 900-foot-high skyscraper in Las Vegas. But how do we know they're safe? The Netherlands at the Mondial factory, one of the world's leading builders of extreme rides. The Top Scan machine is their latest frightener. It's taken a lot of time and money to develop. There's just one thing. No one has ever ridden it. So this morning, Mrs. Frauke Kneistra is checking the machine very closely. Frauke is not only the boss here, she's also the chief test pilot. The first person aboard 50 tons of twisting, turning metal. She may not be risking her life, but she'll certainly risk her appetite for lunch. They know how Top Scan ought to behave. A computer has simulated all the structural loads and calculated the physical effect it should have on the passengers. The ride is a highly sophisticated mix of electronics, hydraulics, compressed air and pure brute force. And before it can be unleashed, it's tested in every minute detail. Experts from TUV, the German safety organisation, are here to enforce international standards. The test pilot steps forward, wondering what sensations lie ahead. There's no turning back for Frauke now. So how's Frauke feeling?
Oh, the sensation of the feet swinging freely is very good. Oh. This machine is moving fast. Oh, it's cool.
And what's the test pilot's verdict?
It was an exceptional trip. Never have had this feeling before. And you're looking in a very big gap when you're looking down. So it's wonderful. I think this will be a successful ride.
The final test session here is, as always, a free ride for the local teenagers, if they're given the green light.
Ready to go.
And what do they think of it?
No idea what way you're going.
Spectacular. I don't like it at all.
I'm just not over the shock yet.
One more time, please.
Now these safety tests are over, top scans can terrify riders around the world. You could have one in your own back garden. Sick, at just under £1 million. A Mini and a heavy goods vehicle in a head-on collision at 39 miles an hour. The front of the Mini is completely crushed, disappearing underneath the lorry. If this was a real accident, the passengers would almost certainly have been killed. But could the severity of this impact be lessened? In 1986, the Transport Research Laboratory fitted an energy-absorbing underrun to the front of the HGV, and they tried again. The impact speed was the same as before, yet now the Mini doesn't slide underneath the lorry. It's estimated that if all the HGVs in the UK were fitted with the underruns, up to 71 lives would be saved every year. Steps are finally being taken to make underruns compulsory. A staged crash. After just 1 second, the helicopter is completely engulfed by fire. So in 1967, the US Army developed a crude test to discover which flight uniforms offered the best protection for aircrew. Nowadays, however, certain military uniforms have to protect soldiers from far more sinister threats.
The biggest hazard any clothes have to withstand is attack from chemical agents. Now, even though most countries have signed a treaty to stop the development and the use of chemical weapons, in war it still poses a threat, and the army must be prepared against it.
The effects of chemical warfare are devastating. Burns and blindness are some of the kinder injuries. And that's why, for any tests with chemical agents, you can't afford to take chances. Today is no exception as we prepare to enter a test chamber at Porton Down, a steel room built to contain some of the most toxic agents known to man.
Protective outfits are constantly being tested. This is the current NBC, nuclear, biological and chemical suit. Today it's being tested with the real thing, and security is tight.
The mask has to keep all poisonous material out, and there's a simple but effective way to tell if it's working.
We've noticed that it will smell like pear drops if you do smell anything at all.
I can't smell anything.
Excellent.
Okay, hold on.
Next, we have to go through an airlock before we can enter the chamber.
This over here is the latest testing machine. It's a new invention from DERA, the Defence Evaluation and Research Agency. He's called Porton Man, and he can move to simulate the actions of a soldier in the field.
60 sensors are attached to Porton Man. They absorb nerve agents in a similar way to human skin, and they will detect the amount of poisoning that gets through the suit.
Usually this suit is worn over full combat gear, which adds an extra layer of protection. But the test today is to see whether in hot climates this suit is still as good if it's just worn over standard issue underwear.
In the Gulf War, desert temperatures reached 40 degrees centigrade, and to comply with regulations at the time, soldiers had to wear full combat kit under their protective suits. But that severely restricted their manoeuvrability.
Okay, all the preparation over?
Yeah,
done?
Time to leave now.
Time to leave.
With Porton Man fully prepared, it was time for the test.
Inside this safety container is a flask of nerve agent with more than 500 lethal doses. Now, for security reasons, we're not allowed to tell you the name of the chemical or even show you how it's released. I'm not going back into the chamber, so I don't need my respirator anymore. But that is going in, and that's going to be dispersed for the test.
Fans make sure that the nerve agent is circulated properly, and Porton Man springs into life. His suit works by having a layer of crushed carbon on the inside. Carbon is particularly good for this job, as the more surface area the molecule has, the more it will absorb the nerve agent. Incredibly, half a teaspoon of carbon has a surface area the size of a tennis court. The test goes on for 6 hours. Immediately afterwards, the sensors are taken to be analysed to find out if any of the nerve agent has leaked through the seams, the fastenings or the fabric of the chemical suit.
Now, there's a peak here in the graph. What does that show?
Well, that shows that we've had a marginal breakthrough at a particular area on the garment, and we'll ascertain where that breakthrough is by determining which tube it was and where the tube was positioned.
Would that be dangerous?
No, not at all. No, that's a very small level.
So the suit has passed the test?
Yes.
You must be pleased with that.
Very much so. It's very encouraging.
And that can only be good news for soldiers when they need to wear chemical warfare suits for real in hot climates.
Meet Bungie. He's mine. He's 35 years old. He's a bit battered, but I love him very much indeed. But no matter how much we love our toys, they can be dangerous. The United States is the biggest toy market in the world. 5 billion toys are sold there every year. But tragically, statistics show that for every 1 billion toys sold, 7 child deaths occur. And consequently, testing has to change. Now, this fellow is part of a new breed of teddy bear because his testing is virtually unique. Children are involved right from the very start, aren't they?
In Chicago, these children are putting Teddy through its paces. Observing their every move is a team of scientists looking at the unique way children use and abuse their toys. What they see here is used to create the mechanical tests which the Teddy will have to go through back at a testing lab in Reading. A precise grip test lasting for 30 seconds, at the end of which the toy must remain in one piece. This may look like a torture chamber for toys, but it's only recreating the lifestyle a Teddy can expect when it falls into the hands of our children. It's essential that the fur stays on the bear and doesn't get into the mouth or throat of a child. So the fur is tested to make sure that the force needed to pull it out is greater than the force a child can exert. Little fingers can get into tiny places. Anything sewn on is pulled at. The eyes are an obvious risk, and the eye test is particularly gruesome. A 12-kilogram weight is dangled from it for 10 seconds. To make sure that it can't be torn out. Because teddies are put into children's mouths, they can't be treated with flame-retardant chemicals. What the testers want to see is that the toy doesn't burst into flame. A slow, steady, even burn means that a child will have time to drop it before it's injured, and that an adult will have time to extinguish the fire. Between the children playing and the testers testing, there isn't much left that a teddy will encounter. And in case you're wondering, Teddy passed his exams with full marks.
Well, that's it for this week. Until next time, bye. Please, miss, can I have some more?
A fact sheet with more information about the experiments featured in tonight's programme is available by telephoning 0906 55 11 555